Good morning and welcome to another edition of Let It Be Known. I am your host, Stacy Brown.
Peace and love, everyone. I'm your co host, Niele Anderson, and we have a lot of headlines to get through today, and some that are going to have the chat going back and forth, Stacy.
Uh-oh.
It's coming.
It's coming. Well, first, let's see what our producer has in store.
A hot take. In Black America, the difference between old money and new money isn't just time, it's proximity to whiteness. And that proximity has shaped how legacies were built and who they were built for. Old money in Black America is rare. We're talking families who built wealth before the civil rights era, often through business ownership, land, or education. New money usually comes from first or second generation wealth earners, athletes, entertainers, entrepreneurs, corporate executives who broke into high income brackets in the last few decades. Both face unique challenges, but the early Black elite often survived by aligning closely with white societal norms, the respectability politics of dress, speech, and education. For early Black wealth, proximity to whiteness wasn't just about assimilation, it was just about survival. Joining certain clubs, attending predominantly white schools, and adopting Eurocentric standards as a way to gain access to capital, contracts, and protection in a segregated society. But the cost? Sometimes it meant distancing from Black cultural spaces, movements, and even extended family, creating a class divide inside our own community. New money in Black America plays by a different set of rules: social media, cultural capital, and direct to consumer brands that mean you can build influence and wealth without asking for permission from old gatekeepers. But here's the twist: some new money still seeks validation from old white institutions, buying into the same country clubs and circles as old money, instead of building independent Black wealth ecosystems. The real question isn't old money or new money, it's whether we're using that wealth to reinforce systems that excluded us or to
Mhm.
build ones that are ours. If you want more deep dives of how culture and capital shape Black wealth, subscribe to Creativity Meets Capital, the link in my bio.
Yep. She's obviously absolutely right. Um, I always go back to and most recently, Ben Crump said it: you lift as you climb. And so many, and we've seen some of in those pictures there who climbed and never thought about lifting.
Yeah, she said wealth comes from proximity to whiteness. And I believe that's true. But I also think about how with proximity to whiteness, I think about the separate but equal, and how, there was a time when we didn't need to have proximity to whiteness and we weren't even trying to be around white folks.
Right.
And that is when we thrived as a race. And so it's just like this whole adjacent to whiteness that separates us as a community, even still to this day.
Yeah, and then we have stuff like, as RNG pointed out immediately this morning, the South has something to say. He mentions the 3 seats in Mississippi where they were flipped by Black people, and this was done without the help of the DNC. And his question, RNG's question is, when will the DNC do business with Black-owned media and newspapers? It's a great question. When will they? And it's will they ever? Will they ever really do business and the kind of business they do with white media? It seems like if they do anything with Black media, it's just out of perhaps a little bit of guilt, and we'll throw them some change.
Well, I think, definitely, the three seats that they took, what the lawmakers did in Mississippi was they broke the supermajority. And that
Hmm.
is a headline that we're just not seeing. And to your point, I got an email from the DCCC yesterday talking about they are doing a digital ad buy
Hmm.
about, people losing their SNAP benefits. And I'm
Hmm.
like, well, don't just send it to me, spend some money.
And who they spending it with? My point exactly. I get these
Meta,
emails
they're spending it with
constantly.
Meta, they're
Yep.
spending it with Google.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I think that even that piece of insensitivity, you're
Mhm.
sending it to Black journalists,
Yep.
to Black publications,
To the
and you're
Black
not
press,
and it's coming from a Black person.
and it's
And
coming from a Black
so,
person.
being adjacent to whiteness in that whole video, it's like even the Black people within the systemically racist structured institutions, they're not just there to do a job, they're also there to advocate for Black spaces. And they seem to forget that as well. And so when we talk about the DNC and we talk about the Black folks in position over there, they probably need to watch that video.
They do, and they will ignore it. They will simply ignore it because they're not ever held accountable. It seems, too many times where Black folks in a position to hold them accountable or to call them out get stifled. Their voices are cut off because it's Black people. It's these Black princes and princesses that we don't want to mess with.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of here with that.
So, yeah.
Fly at your own risk, folks. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said yesterday that he would order 10% of flights at 40 major U.S. airports to be cut starting Friday unless a deal to end the federal government shutdown is reached. This administration, and goes along with what we just talking about, why it's so important that Black folks look out for Black folks. But this administration is so cruel.
No, I think this is smart. I think this is smart. If there's
It's
a
a
government
smart move.
shutdown,
No, it's a
stop
smart
it.
move.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying, Niele, absolutely. In fact, in my opinion, nobody should be flying right now. It's been dangerous since Trump took office to fly. The way that immediately didn't we have those air traffic incidents immediately when he started pulling air traffic controllers and messing with the FAA immediately. I think it's so dangerous, but this is an extension of their cruelty to have allowed this to get to this point where now you're afraid to fly, and the transportation secretary says we're gonna have to stop these flights. It's
Yeah.
cruelty.
Well, I mean, it's smart to me, this right here, because they probably need to do 20%. But the impact that this is going to have on travelers, especially for the holiday season. I know I have to catch a flight in a couple weeks, and I just got my ticket, but I'm not sure if the flight is going to be able to leave or if I'm going to get an email to say, your flight has been changed. You know what I'm saying? And so that's another risk that you take flying now, is that even though you have a booked flight, you don't know if it's going to change. You don't know if you're going to get stuck in another place for a day or two, because everything is unpredictable, and you don't know how long these workers, to your point, the cruelty, you don't know how much long they could survive without any pay.
Exactly. And already, and you talked about this, you've been talking about this, like TSA, they're like, hey, go on through, whatever. It's just horrible for anybody to sit and say they support any policy that this man has come up with, this clan, not this man, this clan, as you say, has come up with.
Yeah, you just have to be careful traveling, and do as least amount of traveling as possible. But do what you have to do for necessity, but just be prepared to wait in 3-hour lines before you go to the airport. And then just be prepared and flexible for flight cancellations, because you just don't know. So it'll be interesting to see what happens tomorrow, what flights get changed, how they handle passengers and rerouting them, because that's going to be essential. You don't want to have people at airports that don't need to be there.
There you go. There you go. And Trump's Republicans and Democrats. We talk about, as we just was talking about, you get these emails, I get these emails, and as RNG says, it's the DCC should be and the DNC should be embarrassed by sending us this stuff about SNAP. More white people use SNAP, but we know that the MAGAs hate us, and then on the other side, we see that we get no type of support from the DNC. So it's like, where does it leave us?
It leads you to just do what you can with who you can. And so that's it. And so now, like, when you think about the DNC, you think about, it's just like, okay, it's the one of lesser evil. And it's where Black folks are trying to still continue to figure out how to build political power. And I think, like, talking about the story of what happened in Mississippi, even though you would think that the DCCC, or no, that's for Congress, but you would think the DNC would be sending out emails celebrating that 3 Black electeds took over the
Hmm.
supermajority in Mississippi, and that
They
that
broke
it's
it.
been that way for 13 years.
Yeah, they
That
did.
is historic for Black people to do that for the party,
Hmm.
for the people. And of course, the Mississippi Free Press was the one that reported it. The Atlanta Black Star is the one that's amplifying it, but you're not hearing the DNC celebrating it.
Yeah. Folks, Trump's masked agents climbed into the car of a U.S. citizen they had detained and drove off with his 1-year-old toddler still strapped into the car seat in the back. The father, who's 32 years old, had been arrested during a targeted immigration enforcement operation at a Home Depot when these masked kidnappers swarmed his vehicle in the Cypress Park, Los Angeles area. The Los Angeles Times had an actual video of this kidnapping, and they later called the family and told them where they could pick the 1-year-old up. That's a kidnapping, if there ever was one.
Yeah, it's a lot going on. There was also a preschool where children were traumatized just yesterday or day before yesterday because ICE went in and took one of the teachers in front of the preschoolers, snatched the woman up and dragged her out and traumatized the preschoolers.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so they're
it's
doing this. It's happening.
yeah, yeah, and it's going to be happening more because going along, continuing on with that theme there, ICE is considering hiring private bounty hunters to locate immigrants across the country, and this is from a document that was leaked to the Intercept. Under the plan, bounty hunters may receive monetary bonuses depending on how successfully they track down their targets and how many immigrants they then report to ICE. According to the document, it solicits information from interested contractors for a potentially forthcoming contract opportunity. So they are giving bundles of information on 10,000 immigrants at a time to locate, with further assignments provided in increments of 10,000 up to 1 million. They're going to be putting their bounties on the heads of all these immigrants now. And most
Yeah.
of them picking up, Niele, are citizens.
It's a combination and mixture of both. And I think, Big Cheese, you have your stats wrong. ICE, we don't know what ICE has done. We don't know who ICE has deported because they're not telling us the truth. Okay, we don't know what is going on with them white folks and them Klan members that have infiltrated, federal jobs. These people have not been trained. They have not been deputized. They just now we got bounty hunters. And so I know just yesterday, I had my neighbor across the street came over and did a follow up because her husband, who was 80 years old, who has his paperwork, has been detained. He has a pacemaker, high blood pressure. It
Yep.
has and they didn't move, they didn't took him to Tijuana. He's from Cuba. He like, what you want me to do in Tijuana? I don't know these people. He didn't get off he didn't get off the bus. Now he's in Arizona. And so
Mhm.
there are so many different stories. And the scary part about it is if they are detaining American citizens, and what if they're homeless people who don't have anybody to
They
even
have
check on
disappeared, a
them?
lot of them. Yep.
And yeah, and so to sit up there and say that they haven't, I mean, it's just not true. We don't know what these white folks. I'm about to say saltine. Y'all
There
don't
you
want me to
go.
say it.
There
Y'all
you
don't
go.
want me to say it, but I'm about to call these ICE agents. And so I think we have to like not sugarcoat what these white racist people are doing.
And
They are
some
they are
people,
slave catchers. They are
right,
reminiscent of
right.
slave catchers.
Right. And there's just some people, including individuals in the chat, who anything they claim to be black, They can't even be so-called foundation black, but anything black, they are anti. And they, I find, if they find a white person who is doing something for a black person, they're anti that person too. So you can't even engage these idiots, because we all have seen and we all know that they have grabbed more citizens than they have non-citizens, and we all know that black people are in squarely in their sites, and they want to take out black people. It's as simple as that. So go away with
People,
that.
I would say people of color. You know what I'm saying? And at this point, this is where we need to know we're all in this together. It's a Latino today, it's a black person tomorrow. You know,
Yeah.
and so black and brown, like Tupac said, for us, it wouldn't be LA without Mexicans. We need each other right now to support each other because they are coming for us. And when I tell you they are reminiscent of the past that we thought that we had come this far by
Yep.
faith,
Yep.
they are taking us back.
Yeah. Right. Right. And to yeah, we're right. We don't know if this idiot is really black anyway. It's probably just another troll, because the racist,
What
the anti-black stuff this guy writes, is, we don't know if he's black. So you're absolutely right about that. I'm talking about chat in our chat. The agreeer sent that message. We don't even know if he's black. So um, but anyway. Let's move on. Sean Diddy Combs' request for a speedy appeals process was granted by a judge on Monday, 4 days after he was transferred to a federal prison to begin serving a 50-month sentence on two interstate prostitution convictions. U.S. Circuit Court Judge Beth Robinson approved Diddy's request in a 2-paragraph court order. So it's going to speed up his appeals process, and perhaps next spring, summer, he'll go home if all goes well.
I think that people should leave Diddy alone right now. The man is in jail serving his time, and all these stories are coming up, and at this time in media, we don't know what's true or what's not. And so I just think let the man do his time. He's been convicted. Y'all got what y'all wanted. Let him fold his laundry and eat his noodles and do his time.
Well, this is important for him that they have speeded up the appeal. Yeah, I mean, because he could sit there for 2 years before they hear his appeal, but they've agreed to take briefs starting next month, and he must reply by March 13th. So if that timeline does hold, then you'll have arguments before the judge in April, and then of course, perhaps sometime soon after that, the judge will make a decision. So he could possibly, by May, go home. So that's the facts of this particular case based on the court filings.
Yeah, I mean, and he very well may be pardoned by Donald Trump. There's stories about that coming out, and we don't know if that's coming from Diddy or not, and it's just like, I get the story. I understand. A lot of people think that he might get released early. There's so many factors that are on his side based upon if he does certain programs that'll help expedite or cut off time, based upon the time that's served, So there are a lot of factors that are on his side to get him home earlier than what he was sentenced to. And so, just let it play out. He seems like he is doing his time. He's accepted it. Pictures of him on the yard have come out. So I just, and 50 Cent trolling him and putting up pictures, just let the man do his time. Y'all wanted him convicted. He got convicted. Y'all wanted him to serve time. He's serving his time. I mean, what more do you want from the man? I'm not talking to you, Stacy. I'm just
I get
saying
it. No.
on my timeline, I'm like, what more do you want?
Yeah, 50 Cent is just way. There is some real underlying thing that I just don't think I know what that is that causes that man to constantly constantly beat this man up like this on his
And
timeline.
it's not just him, even Mandami, the way he's saying New York is dead. First of
Oh,
all,
50 Cent. Yeah, he's talking about he left New
it's just,
York
yeah,
now.
yeah, you're in Shreveport. Ain't nobody going to Shreveport except for a Grambling game, okay? We're going to Shreveport for a Grambling game. We're going to drive up 80 to Grambling. Nobody is following you like they did Diddy or they do Jay-Z, or,
Mhm.
no, you're not that guy. We like your
Yeah.
TV shows, but he even messes up, to me, he messes up his programming because he's too involved in it. Like BMF. We like BMF. So what you fell out with Big Meech? Why we gotta suffer? We like the content. He gets too personally involved with his projects and in other people's business. It's kind of
Mm-mm-mm.
womanish. It's kind of
It's
womanish.
oh there. David Youngblood said when hate based on white nationalism has its day, this is what you get. Patricia Jackson says, "Well, folks, better wake up. There's no rule of law. This is that, and that's it." Patricia, they take parents and they do, then they do what with kids, young girls. It's crazy. And she's right. She's absolutely right.
Yeah, yeah. All right. You got something else?
No, I'm
Oh,
done.
well, I thought we were going to talk about, since we're talking about politics, the day after California voters approved there are new congressional boundaries, the California Republican Party announced a federal lawsuit aimed at blocking the state's new House maps after the passage of Prop 50. And it's just like, Republicans don't understand. They don't, when the people speak, we have a right. This is a democracy. We voted for this.
Michael Steele, the former Republican chairman, national chair, who several years ago, we've had him on this program a couple of times, said yesterday that the thing that concerns him, is simple. That they have a plan B to steal the elections anyway. That's why Republicans, he says, are not panicking. He says that you got to watch these people. Um, they have this plan B election.
Mhm.
This election, while it was a great night, he said, for Democrats, and for not just for Democrats, it was a great night for American people. Um, but Michael Steele warns that these folks are so diabolical. They have this plan to just do away, period, with elections. He talked about the state electors that they have now in place. He says they are already, he knows, he says that they are already um, fooling with the election for the 2026 midterms.
Yeah, I mean, the one of the Republicans have bought one of the ballot machine companies. We know that they mess with electors. We know that they're trying to rig it through redistricting. So yeah, they're it's like spaghetti. They're throwing it up on the ceiling, and whatever sticks, that's what they're rolling with. And so it's just amazing how the people have spoken, the people have decided. And I don't think that it really had anything to do with the Democratic Party on Tuesday. I think what
Right.
happened on Tuesday was a straight message to Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
It was to him. It didn't have anything to do with the party. So
Right.
Democrats better be careful, because they're winning by default. They're winning
Right.
by default. It's not because we're so party blue,
Mm-mm.
DNC. It is because we are voting against everything that Donald Trump and this Klan administration is doing.
He's hurting his own people, and they're tired too. Like everybody else is getting, everybody else is tired. They're getting tired too. And so this was a referendum simply on the fact that Donald Trump has destroyed this country.
Destroyed it. And since we're talking about California, let's bring in our guest for this morning. He is the pastor of Weller Street Missionary Baptist Church. He is also affiliated with the National Action Network, former president of the Western region. Welcome, Reverend K.W. Tulloss.
Thank you so much, Niele. Thank you,
Yeah.
Brother Brown. Thank you for allowing me to be here on today, this morning.
Yeah, we're happy to have you. And as you see, we're talking about California and the Republicans, California Party responding to the people and what we said, I guess, on Prop 50, and they're saying they're going to sue. What are your thoughts about that?
Of course, we're expecting legal challenges anytime over the overwhelming of the state come together and try to protect our democracy by voting yes on Prop 50, um, is going to change the playing field. I mean, I think it's really set the bar for states across this country to understand and to send that message to Washington, D.C. that you can't hijack our democracy. You can't hijack take away the rights and votes of those um, in Congress because you want to make the majority. You want to have a super majority to push your stuff through.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and this idea of suing California when California was the one state that did it the right way, put it to the voters. Every other state that we're seeing, Texas, Indiana, they all did it and are doing it just based on the will of Donald Trump.
Of course. I mean, we've seen in Washington, D.C., how powerful this president is, especially to red state governors. I mean, gerrymandering is something that we have fought against. But again, I commend our state for stepping up and say, we're going to do it the right way. We're going to make sure the voters decide this is what we need to do. And I think, again, as I've heard you say, we sent that strong message. And of course, we were expecting these legal challenges. We were expecting things to be tied up in the court. But ultimately, I think the people spoke.
Yeah, the people did speak. And on the trail to the vote, Jasmine Crockett what came to LA, and you were at a pastor's breakfast with her at Doolin's, hosted by Holly J. Mitchell, second district county supervisor here. What were some of the things that Jasmine Crockett was talking to you about that we should be aware, concerned, and paying attention to?
Well, again, I was so happy to co-host that event with
Okay.
pastors from across Los Angeles and Congresswoman Crockett. She told me to call her Jasmine. She basically she expressed to us her concerns about what's happening in Texas and how the governor has purposely drew her district to be of her disadvantage. Of how she's really thinking about running in that district and believes she can win in that district. She's a very popular woman. The people of Texas and this nation is really wrapping their arms around her. Ultimately, she expressed to us the concerns and the importance of us getting out the vote for Prop 50 because of what the things that was happening in Texas. I mean, they're doing what they want to do. They have a governor that has redrawn the districts to really draw her out because of her voice. Her voice is so loud that Washington, D.C. is afraid. The White House is afraid of her. And so she expressed to us pastors the importance again of us getting out the vote for Prop 50 and how she supported. And it was just a pleasure just to have her in the wonderful city of Los Angeles.
And so, Gavin Newsom, let's talk about your governor out there. He is, a lot of people are saying, he's the front runner, if you will, although there's no real declarations yet, but he would be the front runner right now for the, many people are saying he'd be the front runner for the Democratic nomination in 2028. From what you've seen up close and personal out there in California, is Governor Newsom ready to become president?
Well, let me say this, Brother Brown. I think Governor Newsom has done a heck of a job getting out in front, boxing with the president. I think people around this world is really taking fire to him, really standing up to the bully, letting the bully know that we can't be bullied. But one of the concerns we've had here in California is the question is, does he really like Black people? Does he really support some of our Black agendas? One of the Black agendas, again, that I wrote about was reparations. I mean, we've seen him over and over again. He gets out in front of an issue. He makes it look good and makes it seem as if he's supporting, but at the end of the day, it's all bark, but no movement. And so ultimately, he has become the front runner across the country. But this is a question that I want America to ask: does he really support our agenda as African Americans. We are, as African Americans, we are the backbone of the Democratic Party. As we vote, we seemingly push the Democrats across the line. And so, as he's going across the country, I want to hear his agenda when it comes to our community. I want to hear his agenda when it comes to our needs as a community. So yes, he is the front runner. Yes, he has been a progressive governor, but again, he's been all talk. When are you going to come to the table and actually do something?
Right. I mean, I think you bring up a really good point, and starting this conversation now, I think it's critical as we look at Black Americans being a stakeholder in this upcoming election. And to the point when you say that, I think about back when Kamala Harris decided to run to be the VP candidate, and she had to leave the Senate, and he had to appoint somebody. And a lot of us Black women, we lobbied, we advocated, we showed up at rallies and said, there's no Black woman in the Senate. We want you to send another Black woman to sit in that seat until the election rolls around. And he didn't. He kept his alliance with Alex Padilla and put him in and just forget what Black women want. When we look at when Steve Bradford presented his bills, let's get into the reparations. And he just told the Black legislators, dead it. And they did it. And so now you have this op-ed piece that you submitted to Black Press USA that everybody can go read in the chat. It's called Can Blacks Really Trust Gavin Newsom? A lot of times we kind of stay quiet and go with the flow. Why was it important for you to write this op-ed and put it out there?
Well, I mean, Black people, African Americans, we pushed Prop 50. We pushed everything that the Democratic Party needed for us to do. Gavin became a superstar within this Prop 50 victory. We've seen him doing his victory route. We've got Trump. We boxed Trump. We DDT'd and rock bottom Trump. But the reality is, again, I wanted to ask this question. As he becomes the front runner for president, does he really care about our concerns and our issues? And so it's up to us as activists, as community, to really shine light on dark situations. And I think this is something that he has lacked. You talked about reparations. He got us excited when he started this reparation task force, only for the task force to go all across the state of California, develop this 1,000-page document. And when Senator Bradford was progressive, who was also part of that task force, when he put forth legislation, he killed it. He deaded it. I mean, this is a state at one point that had billions of surplus that could have easily made our wrong rights. And so ultimately, he has again a lot of no movement towards many of our concerns, but we have bailed him out over and over again. We have come to the rescue of the Democratic Party over and over again. And trust me, he needs the African American vote across the world. And so I want everyone around this world to ask, can we trust Gavin?
Wow. I know it's early, but who can you trust at this point? The way things have been moving, the Democrats have been moving. There's not a Republican in sight that you can trust because they're all under the thumb of Donald Trump and moves at his will. Who can you trust?
Who can we trust? We can trust ourselves. We can make sure we protect our right to vote. That's why we went out in droves to support Prop 50. And so ultimately, we know that we can trust our leaders, those that are at the forefront, like Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, like others within our communities. We can trust, again, us as groups, community groups, coming together, making sure we're educating, we're mobilizing, we're organizing when it comes to so many of the issues of our community. We want to have we want to develop a community-wide agenda when it comes to supporting the needs of African Americans who have been at the forefront, again, of carrying the Democratic Party. But we want to make sure there's so many different things that we have going on in our community today, from the impact of what's happening with this government shutdown. We need to make sure that our communities are intact. We know that this shutdown is not just hurting African; it's hurting Americans all across the world, children all across the world. We have to really make the main thing the main thing, and we can't be forgotten as we progress towards victory.
Niele, you on mute.
I thought you were going to say, who can you trust? I thought you were going to say the Lord and go into a hooping.
You can trust the Lord with all your heart. Lean not to your own understanding, but all your ways acknowledge him, and he promised he will direct our path.
No, and so, but with that, I want to get back to, you were talking a lot in your article that is available now on Black Press USA. It's an op-ed, but you center it a lot in reparations, and I think that it's important to know that allegedly he was the one that had the Black lawmakers originally kill the bills that were on the table, only to come back and then for him to sign a bill that only does another study. Okay, right? It's partly studied, and then he killed their bills too that they submitted.
100%. I mean, he has been suspect on when it comes to these reparation bills. He has been suspect when it comes to other agenda items. I mean, the reality is, why put forth this task force? Why flirt with our community saying you're going to put forth an effort to make these wrongs right, and only to kill it at the end, kill it with your pen and put a press release saying, oh, it's nothing that we can do about it. I mean, these lawmakers and legislatures the last 2 years, again, has put bills, the bills Steve Bradford bill didn't make it to his desk, but he got about 5 or 6 bills on his desk and he simply killed it. Right. I mean, it's been through the study, it's been through the committees. Mm-hmm. I mean, people have said these are the right things to do, and the governor has killed it. So can we trust you?
And let's talk about Black women. When Black women wanted a Black woman in the office, couldn't trust him then. He did what he wanted to do.
I mean, listen, we've seen it over and over again. I was with the Black women. I was with millions within this state to really try to push the governor to replace our sister Vice President Kamala, and ultimately he gave us his friend. And then when our beloved Senator Dianne Feinstein passed away, what did he do? He gave us a Black woman, a powerful Black woman, a LaFonda Butler, but she had the promise she wasn't going to run again. I mean, what kind of, empty promises over and over again. He flirts with us. He makes us feel good. He looks good. He sounds good. But, what have we gotten from him?
Right.
Wow. And so what is, you mentioned, the reparations thing. From where you sit, what's next in that reparations fight in California?
Well, what the governor has done is he has strategically passed it on to the next governor. He developed an office in I believe the Civil Rights Department of the state of California. So ultimately, all he's done is put up a talking point where he can go on podcasts and really just say, I'm doing things for the Black community. But ultimately, a lot of empty promises. The question is, as he goes and as he proclaims his presidency, can we trust him? And I will hope those across the country, when he comes to your city, when he comes to your town, you can ask him and you can take him to task on many of these things. A lot of these empty promises that he has flirted with our community. Can you trust him? And so that's why I put together the op-ed piece, is because again, he's number one when it comes to the Democratic Party. So can we trust him? And that's the question that I need America to ask. Can we trust Gavin Newsom? Because us in California, we trusted him, and all we're doing is, he's getting us to the altar and leaving us there.
Mm. Great op-ed piece. I encourage everybody to go watch it. Before we let you go, since we're talking about California, we have a governor's race. He's leaving and assumably going to run for president. But we have candidates here in California that want to be the next governor. Tony Thurmond, African American male. Antonio Villaraigosa, the former mayor of Los Angeles, and of course Katie Porter. Is that her? Is
That's
that
her
her
name.
name? That's her name, and it could be a few others, but those are the top three in my book.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about the race, and have you decided yet who you're leaning towards?
Yeah, well, I'm a Southern California boy, so of course, I've been rocking with Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa for a long time. I just believe, in just to be kind of neutral, we have some strong strong candidates in Tony Thurmond and Katy Perry and Javier Becerra and others that's going up and down the board. I've been really paying close attention, and it seems like people are catching fire. But I think Sacramento need a little Southern California. We've been having Northern governors for a while, so I'm pushing with Antonio. He's been a friend of the community for a long time, and he's a man that has made promises and kept those promises. And so I think it's his time to shine on that stage. And so at the end of the day, I've been paying close attention to polling. Each of those candidates are coming through our community, so make sure we hold them to the fire, and let us make sure we put forth an agenda that really support the growth and of our communities as a whole.
Wow. Oh, well, I think this has been informative, Niele.
I'm glad. Thanks so much for getting up this morning, Pastor Tulloss. And we look forward to having you back to have more conversations about reparations and the role of the Black church in politics.
Love to have it. Thank you all so much for your time, and thank you for your platform. You all keep on striving.
Peace and
Thanks
love.
so much.
Blessings.
All right, let's jump into a few more headlines. Just giving you some POV, what's happening in California. It's important to know as we head into this next story. Now, Stacy and chat, have you heard of the Flash Flood app? This is going to be really helpful. So if you've never heard of it, this is how it goes. This might be your new favorite download. Now, Flash Flood is a design to fight food waste and food insecurity at the same time. And how it works is grocery store chains like Kroger and and Grant upload items nearing Best Buy dates. So best buy it before this date or it goes bad. So they load these products up, and it's fresh produce, meat, dairy, eggs, and baked goods. And the prices are slashed up to 50 to 75% off the regular cost. Now you shop directly with the app, you pay on your phone, and pick up your order in a designated section in the store. And some stores do take EBT, and some Flash Flood locations you can check directly within the app to see if they take the EBT. So with thousands of stores already participating and new ones being added every week, Flash Flood is becoming a quiet lifeline for shoppers squeezed by the shutdown.
Oh, wow. That's good to know.
Yeah, so it's Flash Flood. You can go download it. And it's just, because Best Buy just means you buy it before that date. That was all the stuff you would see in Dollar Tree and 99-cent store. They get all the Best Buys, but 99-cent stores are gone here in California. And so this app, I think, will definitely be helpful for folks during the holidays as they look to figure this out as the government continues to be shut down. So share the app with your friends. It's called the Flash Flood app, and your family members who are suffering now due to the government shutdown. Yeah. And then other places that you can check is Food Finder US, which is an interactive map of pantries and community meal programs, and hunger.org, which connects families to food programs and long-term support. So we'll be giving you some resources. I think it's important. We can break the news, but we can also give you information that might help you, your neighbors, your family, and your community.
That's interesting stuff. That's some good stuff.
Yeah. So let's talk about this story. This story has been brewing on social media, and it has now come to a head. So a Black woman is calling for a boycott of Gold's Gym after her membership was allegedly revoked for confronting a transgender woman in the women's locker room. Take a look at this. No? Yes?
I want to take a look at it.
Well, while Greer pulls it up, hopefully, the video is very disturbing. And so a Los Angeles-based woman named Tish Hyman says that following the incident of her, saying, I want this transgender woman out of the bathroom as I am butt naked, changing my clothes. I think we have the video right now. It's coming. There, here we go.
Did you tell me or not that women like to see dick?
I'm asking you a fucking question.
Exactly. Get out of the way now. No. Now he knows how to be a man, right? Now he knows how to be a man. Stay out of the women's locker room. We don't want it. He needs to have his gym membership revoked for that shit. And the woman told you. He assaulted me. The girl told already. We already filed reports. No.
That's fine. I want the video.
You can't get rid of me for this. I'm a woman and I have every right to not want a man in the restroom when I'm naked. There are girls naked in there. Look at them walking in there like it's okay. It's not okay. I understand. I'm not calling.
How are you?
Did you tell me or not that women like to see dick?
So that's apparently a transgender in the bathroom. Yes, Mike V. Wow. And so Tish Heyman says that following the incident, Gold's Gym revoked her membership, a move she believed was punishment for speaking out. Now, she also shared on Instagram that multiple women have repeatedly made written reports on this man for coming into the women's locker room, harassing them, and the gym staff has done absolutely nothing, she said. Now, also in her post, she says that the gym recently underwent renovations and urged the chain to add a trans restroom. She also called on others to take a stand and join the boycott for Gold's Gym because of what happened to her.
Wow. So the stuff that he allegedly said to, she said that he said makes it even worse. And the gym, based on that, based on the video, based on what, if that's true, then they should have taken action against him, or well, he identifies as a woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
They should have taken action against that individual. She had every right, in my view, she had every right to be disturbed by seeing a penis in the women's locker room.
Right. And just the nerve of him. First of all, he looked like a man. Didn't look like a woman to me. Let's just get that out the way. And I mean, I think that it's okay. Sometimes I think we tiptoe around these conversations because we're in this woke situation, but that looked like a man. And I would be highly offended as a woman to go in the woman's locker room and he's standing in there telling me he's a man, he's a woman.
And that women like to see penises. I mean, not all women. But most women, most women in a situation like that, just about every woman don't want to see it in that situation, period.
Right. And so, I mean, I just think that, this is a situation where, these conversations should be had, and the conversation of having a transgender restroom. What is wrong with that? Because as a society and a culture, we have evolved, right? We are inclusive to all sexualities. But as we have grown into that, then I think that there should be some different changes. And so now we need 3 bathrooms. We need a man, a woman, and a transgender. What's wrong with that? Chat, do you have a problem with 3 bathroom system?
Well, first, let's tackle RNG. He says, I can tell you this, the GOP will use that video as a campaign ad. They will, and they have in the past. it's always distorted, right? Because Kamala Harris was punished for something similar, for just for championing the rights of people who have transitioned or transgendered, and for LGBT. She did not say. See, what they do is they make it seem like if she doesn't say execute them like the Republicans do, then people will say the Democrats support this. The Democrats have said nothing of the nature that they support men in women's bathroom or women in men's bathrooms. What they have said is that, and I think what you're saying, what the lady was calling for is a separate bathroom. They
Yeah.
deserve to have or they should have a separate bathroom. As simple as that. But Michael Carter says, for context, this is a lesbian woman at the same time. He doesn't appear to be transitioning, but we don't know that for sure, he says.
And see, why does her being a lesbian have anything to do with
Yeah,
it?
I don't. I was just reading this comment.
What does that have to do with anything? But yes, she is a lesbian woman. But what does that have to do with anything? I mean, and we do need to be careful and sensitive about the conversation, but I think we should be sensitive on both sides. We can't just be sensitive to the queer community and not be sensitive to the other side of the spectrum, too. I think that's where we lose the conversation because the sensitivity is always on one side, and then the other people are either, they're what do they call people who don't who have something contrary to say to the queer community. You're spewing hate. You're not inclusive, and I don't think that it's that at all. I think that we should have conversations, about us all being in the same space and everybody feeling comfortable. It's not just a one-sided comfortability situation. And this lesbian woman was uncomfortable with this trans person who looks like a man coming into the bathroom and invading their privacy.
Well, Nancy Wall says she sounds like she was caught off guard, and they should provide a restroom for them. But no, I don't have a problem with three bathrooms. Mike V says the next thing you know, he'll be looking for reparations because said person identifies as black. And Michael Carter says I don't disagree with her complaining if offended, but he believes her behavior was a little overkill.
Well, I think that I don't. We'll see. Okay, so I think when we talk about context, I think in that from that statement, context matter because this has been an ongoing situation with her
Right.
and this person. And I think, if you look at her videos, then I think he told other transgenders to come in the bathroom. And so it's like this back and forth thing with them. Like as transgender women, we're going to go in here and antagonize them because she has a problem with me. So let me get all my other friends to go in the bathroom and bother her. So that wasn't an isolated incident. It was an ongoing back and forth situation that has been happening at that gym. And instead of that person, the transgender being kicked out, she was kicked out, but she said that they wouldn't give her any paperwork to prove that they just told her, don't come back. You can't come back. But they didn't give her any paperwork saying that her membership has been dismissed. So that's shady right there within itself. If you're going to kick me out, give me my paperwork.
Yeah, if you have, it seems the reason. And chat, let us. You're already letting us know, but it seems the reason if you have a penis, you should be in the male bathroom. If you have a vagina, you should be in the women's bathroom. I think it should be as simple as that. If you remember when Bruce Jenner was transitioning, Bruce Jenner stayed totally out of the public's eye. He stayed in the house for months while he was going through that. And toward he was headed to the doctors when he had that accident, and that's when it was all really exposed that he was transitioning. But I think that you just have to be mindful that it's not just people have to understand it's not just about you.
Right.
Things are not
Right.
always just about you.
Great point. Great point. But I think even you said, if you have a vagina, you go in the bathroom, but now sometimes you have breast and a penis. That's why you
Mhm.
need a transgender bathroom because maybe a man doesn't want to see a man with a penis and breast.
Michael Carter says nothing against her being lesbian. He says he's a gay man. he was just pointing out that she wasn't a cisgender woman making the complaint. I'd like to hear from you then, Michael Carter, as a gay man. You say you're a gay man. Your feelings on what I said, that it seems like if someone has a penis, they should go to the men's bathroom. If they have a vagina, they should have to go to the women. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that, Michael.
Put it in the chat, and while you're doing that, like even the whole cisgender woman, I don't consider myself a cisgender woman. I just consider myself a woman. And who gave anybody
What does
the
that
right to
mean?
call me a cis? That means that I think that means you're a heterosexual regular woman. Why do I have to have a cis before it? I'm just a woman. Like all of these terms, and all of these pronouns that people are given that nobody asked for. I didn't ask to be called a cis woman. I'm just a woman. What happened to just being a woman?
So just wait a minute. I didn't. Boy, oh boy. I guess you learn something every day that you
A
probably should have known. I
cisgender
didn't know
woman
cisgender meant.
It meant that you're a regular heterosexual woman. That's what
Well,
that means.
that's what I was gonna say. Isn't the word heterosexual?
Well, they call us cis,
Okay.
that. And so I'm just like, why is that? Like, who are making up these terms and who is approving them? And if that is something that is used in the queer community, that's okay and that's fine. But don't be offended if I say I don't want to be identified as cis. I'm just a woman.
I would like to get Michael Carter's response to that. Good morning, Cheryl Brown. He says both should have been suspended. Michael Carter says both should have been suspended until investigation completed.
Point well taken. I think that if we could stick a pin in it right there, both people should have been investigated. And I think that her complaint was valid. We weren't there, so we don't know what happened in between and all around. But if you're gonna definitely, kick her out the gym, he should have been kicked out as well. He said, "Ha ha, Niele." He laughing at me because I'm talking about the cisgender. But I'm just saying, Michael, I'm just a woman.
Mike V said we didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us. Oh, he's killing Malcolm.
All right, last story of the day. I guess in the words of Michael Jackson, we want to be starting something, huh? We started something, Stacy. But Michael Jackson has been named Forbes' highest paid deceased celebrity of 2025. Now, he's earning an estimated $105 million this year, and he has earned about $3.5 billion since his passing in 2009, because of his record-breaking deal with Sony Music. And so Michael Jackson dead, still making those bucks. It seems like he's making more money dead than he was alive.
He's made far more money dead than he's alive. But what is a dead man gonna do with all that money?
Well, it seems like Paris wants it. Paris wants it.
Paris wants all the money.
Okay, Dr. Marilyn says cisgender means it corresponds with their sex assigned at birth. Cis is Latin for means on this side of.
Thank you, Dr. Marilyn.
Thank you, Dr. Marilyn.
And Nagon 11 says that dead man making crazy money. I'm trying to tell you, we trying to buy lunch. and he could buy a country.
Wait a minute. So Michael was saying, I'm thinking the 2 bathrooms is the way to go. See, I think 3 bathrooms is the way to go. 2 bathrooms or 3 bathrooms? I say 3. What you say, Stacy?
Well, yeah, I could see the reasoning there. Because what I said earlier, if you have a penis, you should go to the male bathroom, and if you have the other, the vagina, you should go to the women's bathroom. You're gonna have one or the other, right? So, leave me out of this. I don't know what I'm talking about.
3. Nancy Wall says we need a 3 bathroom system.
Okay. Well, I mean, listen, I wouldn't hate on it. They have 3 bathrooms in a lot of places, but it's called a family restroom.
And I've seen transgender bathrooms before, and I've also seen bathrooms that are unisex, to where there's just one big bathroom, men, women, transgender all go in together. I mean, I don't have a problem with that because it's like, okay, there's one bathroom and we're all using it.
Really? You don't have a problem with that?
I really, in a nightclub, I really don't. I don't.
Okay. I
Because
mean,
it's like we're mixed. So if we're gonna put man and woman, why not, transgender? That's it's a thin line. But if we're gonna
I,
have just
I
one
have a
big
problem
group
with it.
bathroom, let's just
I
have
have a
one big
problem with it.
bathroom. But if we're gonna differentiate a male, female, transgender, because you're not gonna
So
have
yeah, wait a
kids.
minute. How do you go from 1 and 3 bathrooms to being okay with just one?
Because traditionally those style bathrooms are in nightclub atmospheres, adult settings. When I'm thinking about a 3 bathroom system, I'm thinking about, kids are able to go
Mhm.
into those bathrooms, that type of thing. I've only seen one bathroom like in nightclubs.
Mike Visa just put a porta potty out there and called it a day. And Nancy says she wants a door on hers. Listen, I have I, okay.
Orange
It'll put-
Orange G says you're past those bathrooms where everyone uses one
Mhm.
bathroom. And Nagan says in college, this was 40 years ago, we had co-ed bathrooms after 12 a.m. in the
The
dorms.
dorms. Wow. Mm, okay. Okay. So now he's going to listen. Michael says unless you're a hermaphrodite. I, okay.
That's all the headlines I got for today.
Let's do some Black History. Wow, I guess that was a talker. Whew, wow. Okay, on this date, folks, not long ago in 2018, the Democrat Letitia James was elected as the first African American woman to be elected as New York State Attorney General. So it happened in 2018, just what, 7 years ago?
And that was a important election because she's one of the women on the front line, Black woman, front line, unapologetic, and still going after Donald Trump, rightfully so.
All right.
For sure. And a couple more. This all has to do with music and Black history. In 1971, the soundtrack for the film Shaft, produced by Isaac Hayes, reached #1 on Billboard's 200 chart. And then fast forward to 1990, Whitney Houston released her third studio album, I'm Your Baby Tonight, which won Album of the Year at the 1991 Billboard Awards.
Jaff is a bad giraffe. Oh wow. Dr. Marilyn says Starbucks have single bathrooms, which I think is why she says. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
then
like that.
and then Michael says maybe the transsexual community, man or female identifying, can use the same bathroom and separate inside. Okay. It's what a talker.
Look, using the bathroom is getting complicated.
It's getting complicated. Hey, just long as you don't use it on yourself.
Trying to figure it out. Which one do I go in? I got the pick.
Oh gosh. Nagon says he still has his original Shaft album. Oh, that's awesome.
Nice.
That is pretty cool. Folks, our Black-owned newspaper, or in this case, magazine of the day, is Ebony. The legendary publication was founded by John H. Johnson in Chicago in November of 1945 to provide positive and affirming portrayals of Black life. It is a major contrast to the negative stereotypes common in media at that time. Ebony relaunched as a digital publication after ceasing print operations in 2019, and under new ownership since 2020, the magazine is now online with daily content, but it also has returned to print for special limited issues, with a recent one released just 2 years ago. And Ebony, yes, is a part of the National Newspaper Publishers Association.
Yes, and they just celebrated their Ebony 100. I believe it was this week, and they honored Tracy Ellis Ross. And we saw all of the members from Girlfriends. Anybody who watched Girlfriends, it was such an iconic moment on the red carpet. Well, I think it was the black carpet for the Ebony 100. And that's where they just highlight Black folks, young and old, doing magnificent things across this country. And so I'm so the how you reinvent yourself matters. And I think Ebony has found a way to reinvent themselves to stay alive in this digital world we live in now. So congrats to them on that.
I remember when they relaunched, and Willard was the publisher, and we had these conversations. In fact, Kamora Lee Simmons, myself, and Willard would have these conversations. She was also involved in the relaunch of Kamora was in the relaunch of Ebony, and one of the things that they came up with, I thought was a great idea. That the whole Ebony Beauty of the Week. Well, everybody could be Beauty of the Week. They had folks. They invited everybody to send in their photos and to use for the relaunch, and it was nice. It was very nice.
I think Greer just put up some pictures of the people that were honored this year for the Ebony 100. Yeah, you have Tiana Taylor, Tracy Ellis Ross, Lonnie Bunch. There you have it.
Iman,
Shaquille O'Neal, and I know the one in the far right corner, bottom corner. She is, I think, Robin Thede. Her name is Robin. She's an actress. She had an HBO improv show, and then I'm not sure about the young lady at the top.
It's nice. That's very nice. Does Greer know? Oh gosh.
Well, we do know that she's an Ebony 100, so she's doing 100. Something phenomenal in her life.
Ebony 100. Cover the news of Nancy Pelosi not seeking re-election.
Thank God. But did you see she said
that's covered?
Thank God. But did you see she said if she decided to run, she would win? There's no doubt in her mind. Like, yeah, okay. Okay. Anyway, for latest in Black news. And to check out Reverend K.W. Tulloss's op-ed about Gavin Newsom, Stacy has some awesome stories on there, as well as Lauren Berg, April Ryan. Go head over to BlackPressUSA.com.
And Orangey is going to read that Ebony Power 100 only if JJ Fad is on the cover. Is included. I don't know if they have to be on the cover, but they include it. So
and Ebony, instead of goodbye, instead of goodbye, I'm gonna say supersonic.
All right. Supersonic. We'll see you tomorrow. JJ Fad. Wow.
Yeah, that was it.
That was it? Okay. All right. Folks, we'll see you tomorrow.